Welcome to L.O.W. Productions.
We will be evaluating people from movies, series and video games. Today, our first patient will be Max Payne. Now let's head to our lab and see how psychologically damaged he actually is.
Before we start evaluating Max Payne, let's look at the things we know about him before his traumatic experience. He stopped smoking for the baby that was on the way and was happy with his family life. Here we can see that he feels emotions for his family and cares about their health. In his job as a policeman, he gets into dangerous situations, but still keeps calm and even has a sense of humor in those. A little side note. He also knows how to play the piano, which is an important detail if we think about memory saving. Another little thing would be that he drinks alcohol, not a lot, but he is familiar to the taste of whiskey and probably other spirits. If we look at the skills of his body, we can see that he can hold his balance running over planks, roofs, stairs and many other things. At the same time, he is not afraid of heights nor of death. Max Payne is quite agile, which is proven in his jumping and running maneuvers in the game. He must be a very strong man because he is able to carry so many guns and gadgets with him. He is able to rise and or lower his blood pressure, which we will get into detail later. Last but certainly not least, he has killed a human being before, else he would have had some kind of psychological shock after he killed the first enemy in the game. Slow motion. Let's look at his slow motion talent first. As we can see here, Max can activate this talent when he needs it. He might be able to slow down his blood pressure to have a better concentration for his shot, which would also apply when he is nearly dead and is able to shoot another enemy to save his own life. A sniper also uses this technique in calming down so much that their heartbeat goes down significantly. Which would take us to Mona Sachs. She's a sniper, not in the military, but still a good shot. She has the same talent as Max, so this is one logical explanation. Another possibility would be that Max is able to rise his heartbeat so that his actions and reactions might seem quicker than the ones of the enemies, letting it seem like he is in slow motion. In the second game, he says that time is relative to the observer. When looking into a barrel of a gun, time slows down. So this statement would comply to the first solution, where he has a better concentration by slowing down his heartbeat. Now let us concentrate on the things that happen to him throughout the game, not just psychologically, but also physically. Trauma. For the people who don't know, Max lost his wife and kid. They both were murdered. So did this have a traumatic effect on him? Well, let's look at the symptoms of trauma. Sadness, anger, guilt, self-blame, and a physical symptom would be a racing heartbeat, which would comply with the second solution of his slow motion. Sadness. When he sees a dead woman on a bed, he automatically thinks of his wife. He sees sadness in the night, the wind blowing the snow around for the last time. In the second game, Max resembles sadness with seeing your loved ones dead in a grave or kissing a gun that will go off in a second. With that he means that there is no positive outcome. He actually says in the second game, there are no happy endings. Anger. Killing people was personal for him now, which is a broken rule in the police. No policeman should kill because of a personal reason. Max threatens people if they are not willing to help him finding the murderer of his family. He serves through self-justice and does not obey the law anymore. In bad dreams he comes close to revenge, but fails in the last moments. Guilt and self-blame. Till death do us part is another quote of Max. He sometimes thought about his wife's death and gives himself the fault for it. Another situation where he blames himself for his wife's death is in the second game, in what he says that he stayed at work late to talk to a co-worker and did not go home to his family. In the third game he says that he hates himself because he let it happen to his family, although, that is my opinion, he could not have saved them either way. This proves that he must have some kind of trauma. Depression. Some of the symptoms: sleeping too little, self-medicating, sadness. We covered sadness already, so let's prove his sleeping problem. I'm quoting Max here. "I haven't slept for a long time," and another quote would be, "I was active days and nights to find the killers." In the second game, Max says that he is not yet able to sleep well, and when he can sleep for a short time, he has nightmares. As we all know, Max is also self-medicating by taking painkillers. The sleeping problem goes hand in hand with his painkillers. Let's say he is taking morphine, which is a quite strong painkiller and can cause sleep apnea if you take it too often. I quote from the NIH website, "Sleep apnea is a common disorder in which you have one or more pauses in breathing or shallow breaths while you sleep. As a result, the quality of your sleep is poor." In a second game, he opens a few wishes: a smoke, a whiskey, for the sun to shine, sleep to forget, change the past, his wife and baby back, unlimited ammunition, a license to kill, and to have sex with Mona. That shows us how bad he wants his life to change and how hard he is holding on to these little positive pleasures. In the third and last game of Max, he recalls that he met his friend Passos in a bar drunk because of self-pity. Also, he throws his family photo at a wall in his new apartment in Sao Paulo, but briefly after that picks it up again crying. In the third game, we can really see how his depression has took control of him. PTSD. The symptoms of PTSD would be guilt, self-blame, trouble sleeping. All those are already covered. Memories of trauma/flashbacks, feeling numb, being on guard, and aggressive behavior. The memories of trauma and flashbacks we notice when he sees women dying right in front of his eyes in every of the 3 games. Max Payne's numb feelings can be seen in the first game when he gets into dangerous situations without the fear to lose someone, when there is no special reaction by shooting people, seeing blood, or seeing dead people, when he loses his friend and co-worker and shows no emotional reaction, when he shows no reaction as an innocent doctor dies, when he shows no fear fighting against many enemies. In the second game, when he shows no reaction as his boss is shot, Max Payne notices everything that is wrong in his house or in other dangerous situations, hence him being on guard. And he even says in the third title that he always is expecting something rotten and is every day ready for a fight. His aggressive behavior, well, that doesn't need to be explained. Another common thing for people that are dealing with PTSD is that they have weapons nearby or even guns not locked up in a gun safe. This can be seen in the apartment of Max Payne 3. The only 2 things that go against the PTSD pattern is that he feels relief when he kills the final bosses of all the games, but this might also mean that his PTSD stops as soon as the danger has ended, and that he can control his PTSD as the rich people are kidnapped in the third game and the enemies are aiming at him. He even puts his gun on the floor but grabs it as soon as they are gone. But it can be that he knew he would put innocent people at risk if he did not put his gun down. Valkyrie. The drug that is injected into Max's body, what does it do to him? First of all, let's find drugs that are able to do the same things to someone like Valkyrie does. After reading about many drugs and probably now having a mind like a junkie, I come to the conclusion that Valkyrie has to be some kind of crystal meth / LSD mixture. Valkyrie gives Max the sensation of falling as soon as it is injected, so does LSD and meth. He has a hallucination of his traumatic experience, of him being in a graphic novel, of him being in a computer game, and at last the drug personally talking to him to wake up. Max hates the idea of being in a graphic novel and a computer game, because in one, every step and every secret about him is known, and in the other one, someone else but him is able to control his movements and decisions. He also shoots himself in the hallucination and remembers that his wife told him not to go to work on that day. Suicidal thoughts start to grow into his mind because he could not save his wife. As he wakes up, he is covered in cold sweat, feeling sick and tired, lying in his own puke. His memory is still there after the Valkyrie shot, but leaves dark stains in his soul. The drugs meth and LSD are also capable of doing this. Valkyrie enhances stamina of a person, meth increases the heartbeat. Also, meth can cause disturbed sleep patterns, and LSD sleeplessness. One very important scene in the game is this one. Max Payne is hit with a baseball bat twice on the back of his head. So where exactly and what could those hits do to him? If we look at the human brain and compare the picture with the scene out of Max Payne, one is able to tell that he was hit in the cerebrum. The cerebrum is made out of two parts, the parietal lobe and the occipital lobe. The parietal lobe's job is to interpret language and words, sense of touch, pain and temperature, interpret signals from vision, hearing, motor sensory and memory, and spatial and visual perception. The job of the occipital lobe is maintaining posture, balance and muscle movement. Now they probably hit him in the parietal lobe, which could mean that his perception of pain has changed. He might not be able to feel pain anymore or less like before, meaning that he can withstand more shots without noticing his wounds, still taking painkillers to be sure that his body is healing itself. So this is the end of our first session with Mr. Payne, but there are still 2 sessions to come, and they will for sure change the picture we have on him now. Thank you for watching and be sure to subscribe that you won't miss the next episode. I hope you have a great day and see you next time.